Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing something I haven't really fully done before, and we're gonna do a little try a chapter video, horror edition. And when I say horror, I do mean it lightly, but horror nonetheless, it's fine. As you've probably noticed in the background of my videos, I've had this nice little stack of books. Specifically these three. So I thought, in addition to these, we would read a chapter from each, see how I feel, the vibes. These are all books that I'm hoping to get to this month at some point. Beyond these three, I'm also going to be adding two more. The first book that I will be trying a chapter of is The Coldest Touch by Isabel Sterling. All I know about this is that it is a sapphic vampire high school romance. I think I got this in a Fairy Loot as an edition earlier this year, maybe? But I am excited. One girl, Elise, has this curse where she can see how people die and can do nothing about it. She just knows someday that they'll die. And then she meets Claire, a vampire tasked with helping her master her rare powers. So I am intrigued with this. It's a bit chunky, but font's normal size. I am excited for it though. So little spooky romance in between. Next, totally separate vibe. We've got we've got Chelsea Summers, Certain Hunger. This is a vampire, no, that was woman eating. This is a literary fiction about a woman who is a food critic, dating men, just living her best life, but also cannibalism. I've heard nothing but great things. This is a hot girl summer book that I wanted to read this fall, because just the cover screams fall to me. Everything about it, the stupid ugly little flap screams fall with the maroon. I just had to read it this fall. It just makes sense to me. Next, we have Brutal Hearts by Cassie Daly. I had never heard of this author before. This was published with Galactic Press. I had a pre-order campaign thing that I purchased this through from Etsy, and it's a mystery where a girl's fiance goes missing on a mountain by himself, and then, okay, excuse you, you're messing up my background. But her fiance goes missing on a hike in the mountains, and then she returns with her new girlfriend Josie, and they kind of are trying to solve the mystery of what happened to him. I'm very interested. This won't take me long to read because the font is huge and the pages are stark white, so I'm excited to see what this one has to offer. Excuse you. Just messing up the background. Next, we have a fan booktube favorite. We've got Bunny by Mona Awad. Look at the flop, guys. This is so wonderful. Anyway, I don't know a whole lot about this. I don't want to know a lot about this. I just know that it is a female secret society in college, or maybe just very elite society in college of these girls. They call themselves bunnies, and they're part of the slut salon, and our main girl, I think Hannah? Samantha. Oh no, my name's Samantha. Oh. Anyways, our main girl Samantha decides that she is going to join the bunnies and kind of ditch her her roommate, and then things get dark. And I've just seen so many people reading this and loving it, and it's just this weird kind of dark academia, unexpected book. So I'm very intrigued. And the last book that I'm going to read the first chapter of is House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. I don't know a whole lot about this either. I know that it is also very well loved, and it's about three sisters that disappear one day just off the face of the earth, and a few years later they return. Just two of them return, and they've got this weird magic power thing going on, and they're on the hunt to find their lost sister. And that's really all that I know. So these will be the ones that I give a good chapter try 2. I wish that they were all the same size, but alas, they are not. What do I want to start with? That's a great question. Should I do them in like what I think will be my favorite, maybe? Oh, it's basically in the order. Okay. Solved for me, I suppose. So I'm gonna say this is probably the order in which will be my favorite. I think I'll like The Coldest Touch the least just because it's a high school romance. I don't think a lot's going to happen in the first chapter to like hook me in. I don't think I'll feel invested. A Certain Hunger, I think I'm going to like a lot, but I also know that it is literary, so the language will be a bit more poetic and beautiful, and it's going to be a lot more character driven. Brutal Hearts is next. Maybe that's being generous, but because it's so short and I don't know a lot about it, I think it leaves room, especially because it's like 90s themed, which I think is really fun for a mystery, so we'll see. But that's probably like the placement that I'm most hesitant on because it could really go any way. And then we have Bunny. I think I'm gonna really like Bunny, but I don't know how much the first chapter will give to me. I'll talk more about Mona Awad when I do read it. And then on top we've got House of Hollow, because I think I've wanted this book for so long and I think I'm really gonna enjoy it. So we're gonna read the first chapter of The Coldest Touch first. I'm gonna read the first chapter, which is, oh, it looks like there's a prologue. Oh, it's signed. Okay, definitely got this through a fairy loot. Yeah, there is a prologue. So the first chapter and the prologue combined is only 8 pages. So I'll read this and I will check back in with you very, very soon. This is such a weird angle, but I wanted you to see Sakura, so I opened this up, I read the first line, and I wanted to share with you guys the very first line of the prologue. A girl made of stone and masks and broken glass sits alone at her desk. Way better than I thought it was going to be. That's doing something for me. I don't know what exactly, but it's doing something. And 3 chapters later. So I read the prologue. It does a nice job of like bringing you into the mystery. You don't know who the perspective is. You're kind of like, ooh, what's going on? This isn't what I thought it would be. And then you read chapter 1, which is from Elisa's perspective, and she's gathering materials for a ritual, and all we really know is that she's having a hard time with what she believes is a curse that makes her witness people's deaths if they touch her. So with one little touch, she sees how they die and she feels it, and it's obviously a lot for a teenager. So that's where it ended, and I thought it was fine. Like, I thought it was good, but I did want to keep reading, which is always a good sign. So I read the next chapter, which was Claire's perspective, our vampire, and that's where I was a little disappointed. I think that Claire's first chapter in the book gives way too much away. I think it's a little bit on the info dumpy side. Like, she's constantly telling us why she's here, what's going on, what's the plan, what's the world, who's the Veil, so on and so forth. And it's just like so early on. I don't need to know everything. I don't need to know all that's going on. Just don't need it, you know? But I think my biggest letdown was that Claire's perspective gives away the prologue, and therefore it's not as interesting. And I feel like if the author was to do it better, they would hold off on explaining who the prologue was and draw it out longer. So there's more of a mystery, so that you think that there's a third perspective that you don't know and that you're not aware of. But alas, it's fine. I'd say for like the first chapter it was good and I was intrigued, but when it came to Claire's chapter, she's our vampire, who works with the veil and has all these things, and it just very clearly laid out the book. So I feel like I know a good gist of what's gonna happen. So we're gonna start next with A Certain Hunger. This one I think is gonna take me a bit longer just because the font is smaller, seeing as it's adult, but the first chapter is 20 pages, so I will read that and check in with you guys then. I already forgot that I was going to read you guys the first sentence of each book. Chapter 1. Corpse Revere number 2. They all look the same, hotel bars, even when they don't. That's it? They all look the same, hotel bars, even when they don't? I wanted a little more, I'm not gonna lie. That's like 1 out of 5 stars for a sentence. I don't care. That doesn't intrigue me. Sure, I agree, but like I'm not feeling anything. Wow. Just wow. Wow in the best way, but also like, what the fuck way? It's so good. Okay, besides the fact that this is about a woman who murders men, fantastic. The writing is wonderful. Honestly, it was a lot easier to read than I thought it was going to be. I really thought it was going to take me like a hot minute as a slow reader, but I feel like I kind of breezed through it, even though like there's barely any margins and the writing is pretty small. Hi. So that's a win always, but I just love this idea of like, love the idea. Wouldn't actually read a serial killer's memoir, but I love that this is kind of written like a memoir, and so our main character is like, here's the story of why I killed men and how I did it, and it has, thank you for the kisses. I like that it's gonna have social commentary on true crime culture and why people would pick up a book like this. Thank you. I like the conversations around different types of love, and of course all of the food. I know this has cannibalism. That's like the main draw in the synopsis to a lot of people, because it's not something you commonly read about or see. But I love the descriptions of food and the way that it's talked about, and just like the correlations to food and everything else. I don't know, something about it I rather enjoy. I know I shouldn't, but as a little foodie that hates most foods, I like it. I didn't think I was gonna like it so much, but now it's gonna be so hard to follow. But we're gonna pick up Brutal Hearts by Cassie Dally. She's sorry. Do you want to see the baby? I am a little nervous. It's 1997 and Leia just can't seem to catch a break. A year has passed since her fiance went missing while hiking alone on a mountain, and she can't shake the unanswered questions and nightmares Simon left behind. On the anniversary of his disappearance, Leia and her new girlfriend Josie return to the trail where Simon disappeared with 2 of their best friends, armed with incense, tarot cards, crystals, and snacks. The girls have everything they need to complete their ritual to help Leia finally say goodbye to Simon once and for all. But the trails are hiding something sinister, and it's been waiting. As night falls around them, the girls find themselves in a deadly game against something vicious and wild that has made a home in itself on the mountain. It's time to find out what really happened to Simon. Like, that sounds super good. I really love this cover. I'm really into the cover. It's a bit bigger than a typical book. Again, these pages are so white. The font is so big. It's very short. I don't think it'll take me long. Why are you biting me? dedicated to anyone trying to move past something that won't let them go. A horror novella. 1. Mid-afternoon sun filtered through the bushy leaves overhead, its dappled light decorating the frequently used hiking trails underfoot as 4 girls marched along the path. Who are these girls? I know Simon and his friends. Oh no, my stickers. I know Simon and his friends. Who are these ladies? I like the first sentence because it kind of gives you a description of the trail and where we are, while also talking about 4 girls, which are not in the synopsis, so it makes you wonder, like, who are they? What's going on? Is this like a pre-things that happen? I don't know. Let's find out. This first chapter wasn't very long, if I remember correctly. 16 pages, but again, massive font. So, I'll check in with you guys very soon. Another one. I'm definitely getting more tired as I'm reading. So this one felt like it took longer to read, potentially because I was tired, potentially because I'm less interested, and it could be because it followed up a book that I was really enjoying. But the writing style I think is good. It's definitely a writing style that I personally have and try to strive for, so I could relate to the writing and enjoyed it for that reason. But for how big the font is, which I know I will stop saying it because I've said it so many times in this video already, but for how big the font is, it took me a while to read and I just wasn't super duper interested. We're following 4 17-year-old girls, 2 of them being Josie and Leia. Leia is the ex-fiance of the boy that died, now dating Josie. Josie is kind of the perspective we're following. Josie's perspective is she's gotten to know Leia in their relationship and so on and so forth. Again, they are 17, meaning that Leia was engaged at 16. Interesting. And now she's dating a girl. Only a few months after her fiance disappeared, she starts dating this girl, and the relationship moves quickly, and now it's been a year since the disappearance and they're going back to say goodbye. Quick timeline. I know that they're 17. Love is strange and quick when you're younger, I suppose, but like, sus. But either way, I've read it. It's not that I didn't like it, it's just not as captivating or interesting, but I think that because it's a horror novella, it has the potential to be good. Novellas can be so hit or miss sometimes though, but I have high hopes that this will be very paranormal and a little spooky. I also thought it was funny, just like this random scene of the girls making out in a car and like Kurt Cobain was playing low, and I was like, ha, and then I was like, oh wait, it's supposed to be in the 90s, so I thought it was really funny. But yeah, it was fine. It wasn't anything spectacular. I am still interested in reading it, but I'm not like high prioritizing it. Next up, Bunny. I'm so excited for this. Hopefully, we will see. I can buddy read this with Daphne over at Being Daphne, because she also wants to read this. It's like everybody's favorite book. Books with Chloe loves it. Katie Colson loves it. Books and Lala loves it. It's just like everyone loves it, so I want to be in the know. I want to be one of those cool girls that loves Bunny and understands. I think Gavin really liked it too. I remember being in a live show when he was reading it and he was like finishing part 1 and just like flabbergasted the whole time. So I'm very intrigued. My concern though is that I have read All's Well by Mona Awad. This was her 2021 release, and oh boy, I hated the first part. I hated the first part with my entire being. I DNF'd it. I didn't think I was ever gonna finish it. Luckily, I did end up picking the audiobook when I was able to, and I actually felt kind of in love with it, and I actually really enjoyed the story so much. I think I ended up giving this 4 stars because it got so good. So me and Miss Awad me and Miss Awad, we have like a weird relationship where like I love this book, but I also have to remember how much I hated reading the first part. Like I literally didn't even get to finishing the first part because I was so sick of this character. But then I ended up loving it. So I feel like this one will only have higher potential because we're following a character closer to my age in her like early 20s because she's going into college, I believe. So you already have like a younger character, which is just more relatable to my age demographic than a college teacher. I also think that because it's more dark academia, it's just a bit younger, that I'm going to just enjoy it overall more than I did All's Well. But I am a little concerned that I won't actually like the first part, and that's going to take me a while to get into. I guess we will see what we'll see. Chapter 1, the first sentence is, "We call them bunnies because that's what they call each other." Seriously? Bunny? Example. "Hi, Bunny. Hi, Bunny. What'd you do last night, Bunny?" "I hung out with you, Bunny. Remember, Bunny?" "That's right, Bunny. You hung out with me, and it was the best time I ever had. Bunny, I love you." "I love you, Bunny." Oh, I'm gonna have so much fun. Okay. It was a pretty short chapter, 8 pages, but like really it was like 6. So how am I feeling? What's going on? Big words. Mona Awad is smarter than me and has a larger vocabulary. That was really good. Anyway, yeah, some of the words are kind of big brain and I don't know them, and I wasn't gonna look them up for this try chapter. I did it. I read it. I do like it. I like this like weird creepy undertone with the bunnies that are just like, "Hi. Hi." Like, I don't know. Something about it intrigues me. I'm very intrigued to see where this could go. I mean, I have a feeling. Famous last words, I'm sure everybody says they have a feeling they know where this is gonna go, and then it goes places that they're not expecting, but like, I have a suspicion. I do know that this is probably like the book my friends want me to read the most, so I definitely want to get to it this month for sure. Especially because like it's a pretty quick read, even though I struggle with some of the vocabulary and like reading the words and understanding, but with context I feel like it's pretty good. I also just like want to read it because everybody loves it and I want to be involved. But I like Ava's character, which is the best friend slash roommate. Samantha's character so far hasn't been very developed, but I like this like weird kind of eerie interaction with the bunnies and like to see how it progresses. But interesting. And finally, last but not least, House of Hollow. This is YA, I know that for sure. This also has a prologue. Oh my god, and it counts the pages properly. That's crazy. I don't know why more books don't do that, but so the first prologue and chapter are 13 pages total, so I'll give this a read. I'll check in with you. We'll chit chat, we'll rank. See you soon. Did it again. Prologue, first sentence. I was 10 years old the first time I realized I was strange. I'll check in with you on chapter 1. my breath snagged when I saw my sister's face staring up at me from the floor. Less exciting, but let me tell you, that prologue, if the vibes carry throughout this whole book, you don't even understand how much I will love this book. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it so much. I love it. The writing is amazing and I love it. I love these girls. I love everything about it. I'm 8 pages in and somehow I am so sucked into it. It's fantastic. What more do I have to say? Although I must say, you don't know this really yet because I haven't talked about it, but I keep reading books with the main characters being Iris and I'm not sure what that's about. But I finished it. I finished the prologue in the first chapter. Let's talk about it. So here was my ranking before we started to try the chapters, and now solely based off the first chapter or so, this would be my new ranking. I would have Brutal Hearts down on the bottom just because although the plot does interest me, the first chapter didn't really hook me in. It kind of left me with feelings, you know. Next, we've got The Coldest Touch, which I think if I didn't end up reading Claire's chapter, it might have been higher, although it's up against some like really great contenders, so it's hard to say. But I am interested to see where like this ritual is gonna go, how this potential, I think it's a romance, I think that's gonna get developed, which I think will be rather interesting, having the dynamic of a girl that sees death with every person's touch, but then having a vampire girlfriend that's already dead. That just sounds like a good time. Next we have Bunny. I'm not really surprised. I do think I'll love this. I'm very excited to get to it, but I am afraid that the first part is going to take me some time to get into, as per my pattern with Mono Awada seems. Next we have A Certain Hunger. I knew I was gonna love this. I didn't think I'd love it this much, but these two are kind of like tied, and then I'd say these two are kind of tied, but I think A Certain Hunger is just gonna be good. Although I think it gets the second place spot just because it's going to have a lot of graphic scenes, sexual, and I'm assuming potentially otherwise. The gore I can kind of handle, but the sex scenes, we'll see how I do. And then of course on top we've got House of Hollow, because I love it. I just love it. I knew it was going to be like something I loved. I knew it was going to be a potential favorite book, absolute 5-star prediction. I have incredibly high hopes for it just because like I love fantasy horror, especially in the YA genre. But yeah, this is my final ranking. That's how I feel. But oh, I made my pumpkin brighter. Please. Better. But thank you so much for hanging out with me, reading these chapters with me. Again, I really would love to read them all this month. We'll see if that's even possible, but I at least would like to read the first top 3. But like Brutal Hearts is so short that I could probably read it. Coldest Touch is the only one that I'm like most hesitant on actually being able to finish this month. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But that's gonna be it for me. I'm honestly so freaking tired. So I'm gonna go to bed. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed. Give this video a thumbs up if you did. You can subscribe down below if you want to see more content from me. I am doing Booktober this month. I can't believe that it is day 15, no, 13, 14. Day 13, 14, or 15. That's so crazy. I'll know my schedule eventually. Anyway. But yeah, I'm doing Booktober, which means I'm posting one video every single day of October, which is really fun and exciting for me. I've been having a lot of fun with it. I'm enjoying these new videos that are common on BookTube, but brand new to me and my video filming. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm so tired. I'm not making any sense. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys very soon tomorrow in my next video. Bye.